Hello everyone, I'm Yvonne, a children's librarian here at the Manchester City Library, and welcome to Elementary Experiments Summer Reading Program. Here we are going to do experiments and activities aged at elementary grades 1 through 6 with a focus on STEAM, or science, technology, engineering, art, or math. We're actually back to doing most of our programming in person. So please visit our website for dates and registration and to join us for the full elementary engineering experience. Registration is going to help us make sure that we do have supplies for everyone who attends. So please go ahead and do that if you plan to show up. That being said, I thought we could still continue posting some of our crafts and tell you a little bit about our activities right here so we could share with as many people as possible. And we are still going to set out craft kits after our in-person programming on a first come, first served basis. So our summer reading edition also is going to tie into our summer reading theme, which is Oceans of Possibilities this year. If you don't have to be in our summer reading program to attend elementary experiments with us, but we do have summer reading for all ages this year at both of our locations if you want to sign up. Now that we have all of that covered, let's go ahead and get into this week's elementary experiments. Hello everyone. So this week we are talking about ocean protection and understanding. So we've been learning about oceans all through our summer reading program, and we also want to make sure that we keep our oceans clean and think about ways to reuse, recycle, or maybe even not have to use so many materials that are damaging or don't break down very quickly in our planet and our landfills. So we've got a few activities and experiments as far as learning about that. Our first one, we definitely have to have some special materials for. So in this one, we are going to be using sodium alginate and calcium lactate to make edible water bottles, or in this case, more like water pods. So I have an example of that here, what I made. And so if you look at this, when you mix everything together according to the instructions, you'll end up with something like this, which is basically a water bottle, but it's using a seaweed base to make the gel form around it. And you can eat it. You want to make sure that you make it with like clean utensils and stuff, and it doesn't taste the best, but yep, doesn't taste maybe the best, but definitely edible. So I'll put that up on the screen, and I hope that you enjoy if you can find the materials for it. So our next activity is going to show how the melting of our glaciers and of our polar ice caps can affect the coastlines of our cities and can potentially cause issues to anyone living on islands. This is also going to show the difference of water that is frozen on land, like down in Antarctica, or glaciers that are on land versus some of the ice that is perhaps floating in Antarctica, and how that affects the change in water level as well. This one's pretty simple, so hopefully you'll be able to gather the supplies at home if you weren't able to do it with us in person. All right, so our next activity is also going to focus on the rising tide levels. So if you can gather the materials for this, you can see how scientists can use flyovers or satellite images to map the changing coastlines and possibly the rising tides, and use that to inform people and to make plans for the future. All right, and this is one extra activity that I'm sort of sneaking in. You can do this one to show how that cold water, the addition of cold water, especially in the form of like the melting of the ice caps, can actually change some of the currents in the ocean, and basically how temperature of water can affect how currents can move in general. All right, and that is going to bring us to our craft for today's elementary experiments. If you were able to attend our in-person, you will have that in our kit bag. If you weren't able to attend, we are going to have some set out in the entryway to the children's room. So go ahead and grab those if you can. But also this week's craft, because we are thinking more about the environment, you might be able to gather the supplies yourself just from things that you have at home, because we are using all renewable and reused items, besides the tape, glue, and any coloring materials that you might want to grab to use for this project. So let's get our supplies and meet right back here. All right, so in our kit this week, we are going to have 3 cups cut out of egg cartons. Ours are kind of a more interesting shape. So any egg cartons that you have at home will totally work. Ours are just from big batches of eggs, but any one will work for our fish that we are making. We're also going to have some old magazines. They can be anything that you have at home. We just have some with some fun colors. So just choose colors that you want to put onto your fish that we're making. And of course, like I said, I have some scissors. I do have some tape and different glues just in case. I definitely, to stick the cardboard cups together, I found that this works better, the liquid glue. And then I also have some coloring materials. So what we're going to do first to make our fish is we're going to take 2 of the cups and kind of see if they line up more or less nicely. If not, you might trim them down a little bit, but I think I can work with this. And we're going to put some glue onto the edge. All right, I put like a little bit more rather than less of the glue. And then we're going to put that and we're going to put them together. Oh, I did check, but now it's being annoying. Okay, so I'm gonna put those together. I'm gonna sort of press it together and hold it until the glue sets. And I might add a little bit more glue if things are not lining up quite where I thought they were going to be. It does happen. All right, once that's more or less dry, you're going to go ahead and take your 3rd cup. We're going to decide which one you want to be the front of the fish and the back of the fish, and then we're just going to glue that together to be the fins in the back. All right, and then we're just going to hold that until the glue seals a little bit, and it's okay to start decorating it. All right, so once all of your pieces are stuck together and dried, now you have your base to start building and decorating off of. So this is where we can take our magazines and go ahead and start cutting out some things like fins or eyes or other things that we want to put onto our fish. And then of course we also have our any coloring supplies that you want to bring and put on your fish as well. Alright, so here is my fish that I created. I hope that you guys also created something fun. There's the one I created earlier, and I think they'd be really fun. This one especially because I made these fins so ridiculously big. I think it'd be fun to hang this one like from like fishing rod. That's the word. Either from fishing rod or string. They'd really make a cool mobile. I don't know if you guys have ever made that before, but you know that's when you have like a stick that you hang from a ceiling or some sort of beam or something, and then you hang things from the stick or hang several sticks off a stick, and then they all kind of like move around. These would make really cool mobiles. Anyway, that is just me thinking too much while having fun. I hope you had some fun too, and that is our craft. All right, well that's going to bring us to the end of our ocean protection and understanding elementary experiments. I hope that you guys had fun either at the Manchester City Library or at home doing this yourselves. Next week, I'm going to put a little thing at the end of this, but we are going to be looking at merfolk and myths. So we are going to be doing a couple activities about the deep ocean and the ocean floor and how like new land masses are made, because like if there are merfolk living in the oceans, then they have to be in spots that we as humans haven't found yet, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're also going to have some fun with some sort of a magically changing mermaid or merfolk drink. Okay, it's actually science, but it does look like magic, and we will talk about how that happens. And then, of course, we are going to have a craft that you can wear home. So I hope that you guys are looking forward to our next elementary experiments. I do want to let you know that that is going to be technically after the end of our summer reading program, but I did just want to like put it in there as well. So next Tuesday in the Manchester City Library will of course be Legos as usual, and then we will have our merfolk and myths elementary experiments. But in between those two times, we are going to be ending our summer reading program the last day, the very last day, to get your tickets into any raffles or log any reading is going to be on August 13th, and then everything is going to be shut down. So make sure you do that. And if it's part of a mission you haven't done, make sure that you show that you've been to an elementary experiments so you get all of that credit that you have worked hard for. But yeah, so have a good end of summer reading, and I will hopefully see you back here for Mermaid and Myths in 2 weeks. All right, guys, bye.